My journey through the public sector has been about 20 years now, but I started in technology through university, and realistically it's the only job I've ever had. So it's been a passion my entire life, and being able to combine that passion for technology with a passion for the public sector has made my sort of career choices quite clear. I spent a bit of time in different industries, worked overseas in telecommunications for a while, came back to Australia and worked in transport and logistics with Queensland Rail. Following that, I actually got my first opportunity to work in government in transport and main roads in Queensland. And that was where I really got a passion for public service, being able to help people, being able to support people. And that carried through my career for a long time. So I went to New South Wales, I worked in the Office of Environment and Heritage and Planning and Industry, where we really got to focus on how technology could help in other domains, such as managing and supporting improving environmental outcomes. And in those aspects of planning, how we can actually use technology to support better developments and better population areas for citizens. And then finally, I moved to Service New South Wales, and that was where my passion for citizen-centric services really hit the front. And it was a fantastic opportunity to actually work in an organisation whose entire purpose was about putting the citizen at the centre of everything they did, whether that was with their technology platforms or their phone platforms or their over-the-counter functions. Following that, I really went to Queensland to look at doing a similar job in Queensland Government as a Chief Customer and Digital Officer. And that was, again, a really good opportunity to look at how we could transform digital citizen service delivery around the needs of the people and bring it together in a way that was helping them, not forcing them to figure out how they could get through government. And that took me finally to the Digital Transformation Agency. I had the great opportunity of working in a group called the Data and Digital Ministers Group, where I got a lot of exposure to what was at the time Minister Robert within the previous government. And there was a great opportunity that I saw in working in an organisation like the DTA that was about bringing government together and forcing us to think more about how we work collaboratively to improve citizen services through digital. The trends that I see in government that are most transformational and the biggest priorities, I put them down into two that we're dealing with a lot at the moment. One is the greater use of data sharing for about designing better public services through better use of the information. And the second one, which I think has got a massive transformative impact for citizens, but also for industry, is the use of the digital identity and the digital identity ecosystem. This is going to free up enormous amounts of effort for citizens and for government and for business in establishing that people are who they say they are when they go to actually interact with government, but it also gives government the authority to understand that when citizens presenting, it really is them. And that works for the business areas as well. Two key ones that we're working on, two key projects that we're working on in the DTA at the moment is one around cyber hubs. Cyber hubs is a proposal that looks to uplift the digital cyber security of all of the Commonwealth agencies in one solid aspect. So it's important because we need to maintain the trust and confidence that citizens know that we're securely managing their information. And the second one I mentioned before is digital identity, looking at how the systems and the policies and the implementation works to support that solution, opening up really big opportunities in the Australian economy. If I talk about digital identity and why it's critical, there are literally billions of dollars that can be opened up in the Australian marketplace through the use of better identity. And in fact, $3 billion alone can be saved on fraud through the use of a strong identity. It's important for making sure that citizens can get access to all the services they need, especially when they're in remote locations. And it's important for government to understand that we can deliver those services securely to them and make sure that there aren't any terrible things going on like fraud. I'll talk about the cyber hubs. And cyber hubs is about uplifting the controls that we're putting into all agencies. And it's a concept that works around 4 cyber hubs that protect the 100 or so agencies across the Commonwealth by ensuring that they have a strong wall around their perimeters to ensure that no nasties get in, and that the aspects of the systems and the data that we look after are protected and secure. And that's also about just continuously improving the capabilities of those agencies to keep all the information secure and safe inside of the Commonwealth. I think innovation and disruption go really closely hand in hand. And one example that I saw, or 2 examples that I saw during the COVID pandemic, the first one is about the sharing of the COVID vaccine certificates. And this was the first and strongest collaboration between states and territories in the Commonwealth. And it happened really quickly. And the second one also related to that was the ability for states and Commonwealth and states, territories in the Commonwealth to share information that they'd never been able to share before. And this was so important to understand what the health impacts were, what the economic impacts were to all the locations. And without that sharing, the way that we managed the way through the pandemic would not have been as successful as it was. So the value of coming to events like PSN and Innovate Australia is really about collaboration and sharing. There have been so many opportunities across governments to actually understand and reuse the lessons that have been learned by other jurisdictions. And through sharing those, we can better optimise those outcomes. We can reuse capabilities that have been done before, and we can ensure that we're creating the maximum value with the minimum risk in the shortest time for citizens. So I've seen some great examples of how we can find out how Singapore has been so successful in some of its transformations and apply those lessons into our own environments. And we hope that that happens broadly across this conference.